So apparently the feds did a huge bust here at the Los Angeles port, $200 million worth. Let's take a look at it. Welcome to Global Reference News Inside America. I'm Joe Cole reporting. The feds made a huge bust today here in Los Angeles, confiscating more than $200 worth of contraband, mainly counterfeits, food, and fentanyl. Let's take a look at it.
My name is Joe McNally. I'm the acting United States Attorney for the Central District of California. I'm joined here by Homeland Security Special Agent in Charge, Eddie Wong, and Cheryl Davies, the Director of Field Operations for Los Angeles Customs and Border Protection. We're here today to announce federal criminal charges against 9 defendants who worked with partners in China to operate a criminal network that illegally smuggled what we estimate to be more than $200 million worth of counterfeit goods from China into the United States through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. The Los Angeles and Long Beach ports are the busiest container ports in the Western Hemisphere. Ensuring the integrity of who and what comes into our country is critical to our border security and ultimately to our national security. The 9 defendants charged in the indictment participated in a wide-ranging scheme to circumvent inspections at the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. The scheme involved logistics companies, warehouse owners, and corrupt truckers. They worked as criminal partners to defy U.S. customs laws, to illegally smuggle enormous quantities of goods from China into the United States. 8 of the 9 defendants have been arrested. One defendant, the lead defendant, who orchestrated the scheme, is a fugitive and is believed to be in China. Let me talk to you about how the scheme worked. As part of the scheme, the defendants and their criminal partners in China filled shipping containers with contraband, counterfeit goods, illegal and dangerous chemicals, and other contraband that is not permitted to be imported into the United States. U.S. law requires that all containers coming into the United States be sealed with a locked security seal that is assigned a unique number. This is a security system. Containers, from the time they leave China, cannot be opened until they arrive in the United States and clear the Customs and Border Patrol inspection process. And the seals are key to that security process. Members of this scheme in the United States and China evaded this security system by learning in advance the unique serial numbers assigned to these seals that would be associated with their illegal shipments. And they created duplicate fake seals in order to circumvent the inspection process. They would create those duplicate fake seals in China, and they would send them from China to their criminal partners here in the United States. When the shipments arrived at the port here in Long Beach and Los Angeles, U.S. Customs and Border Protection would direct, as part of their normal process, that some of those containers go to secondary inspection. Those secondary inspection sites are a short distance from the port. Instead of taking the containers from the port to those secondary inspection sites, members of the scheme, including the corrupt truck drivers, would instead take the contraband shipments to off-site warehouses. At those warehouses, According to the indictment, members of the conspiracy would open up and cut those seals, take out the contraband contained in those shipping containers, and ultimately put a new counterfeit seal on the containers and then pass them to CBP for inspection. Members of the scheme would then have the containers, now smuggled with the illegal goods, inspected by CBP, and they presented them just like they had come straight from the port complex. The truck drivers involved in the scheme were often paid 10 times the normal rate, and sometimes much more, to illegally transport the containers to a warehouse before inspection. During the investigation, law enforcement identified that Chinese co-conspirators were sending these seals into the United States, these counterfeit seals, and they were able to intercept around 50 counterfeit seals. Law enforcement then linked those counterfeit seals to inbound shipments, intercepted those shipments, and removed the contraband inside. Items of contraband include chemicals such as R22, tens of millions of dollars in counterfeit merchandise, unapproved food and other types of drugs that pose consumer risk. During this investigation into this smuggling, federal authorities seized roughly $130 million worth of contraband. And we conservatively estimate that the defendants who are charged here and their criminal partners in China smuggled more than $200 million worth of goods into the United States. We have charged the defendants here with serious federal crimes. That includes smuggling, taking off using counterfeit seals, and conspiracy. If convicted, they face substantial federal prison sentences. The 7 smuggling charges contain a penalty of up to 20 years in federal prison. Smugglers harm our economy by introducing counterfeit items into our markets and robbing U.S. taxpayers of millions of dollars in revenue. Prohibited and unregulated items coming into the United States threaten the health and well-being of our citizens. And smugglers threaten our national security by allowing dangerous items to enter without detection. Let me end where I started, and that is that our border and port security is critical to our national security. And we'll continue to work with our law enforcement partners here to hold accountable individuals that attempt to violate the security of our ports and our borders.
Now let's talk about how we got here today. In 2023, a CBP agriculture specialist was doing an enforcement examination, and he noticed something unusual with the shipment. He saw that the high security seal appeared to have been tampered with, and that the cargo inside did not match what was on the manifest. He immediately notified his supervisors, and they quickly realized that the original cargo appeared to have been removed and replaced with domestic cargo before the shipment was presented to CBP for inspection. The vigilance of this agriculture specialist unveiled an intricate network of logistics companies, brokers, freight forwarders, and truckers who are working in concert to circumvent CBP inspection. This sophisticated scheme is planned prior to the cargo arriving at the port. From the shipping terminal, the container, which has been placed on hold by CBP, is driven to an unauthorized third-party warehouse. There, the original high-security seal is broken, the container is opened, and the contraband is removed. The container is then reloaded with generic goods, and a cloned or fake security seal bearing the original seal's numbers is placed on the container, and it's sent to CBP for inspection. Over the last 2 years, CBP has identified 141 cargo diversion incidents and effected 204 seizures. These seizures include everything from controlled substances, chemical precursors, weapons parts, fake postage stamps, counterfeit U.S. coins and consumer products, drug paraphernalia, and over 220 tons of prohibited plant and animal products. These shipments also contained a number of capsule filling machines which can be used in the production of illicit chemicals, including fentanyl.
One of the things that's interesting is that Donald Trump, during his campaign run, he emphasized that he was going to crack down on a lot of illegal contrabands coming in from China, and particularly fentanyl. And as you can see in this report that we just showed you, fentanyl was a key factor in the findings amongst this illegal cargo. Like Trump says, promises made, promises kept. Am I a Trump supporter? I can't say I'm a Trump supporter, but I do have to admire that ever since he's gotten office, a lot of these wondrous things have happened. They've managed to crack down on illegal imports and also illegal immigration. So it's very, very admirable to see that that's happening and that this country is looking like it's taking a right step in a right direction, and we're only week 2 in the job. www.globalreferencenews.com. Follow us there. We have other interesting stories not only here in America, but around the world.